I'm with that. I'm with that.
What do you mean you're with that?
I ain't doing all that.
Doing all what?
I ain't doing all that dancing on TikTok. Let me off that. We out here to play some ball. I don't need us looking like this.
Soft.
We gotta be all, we strong out here. Strong.
Okay.
No, we not doing that. Come on, man. We ain't doing all that.
As they constantly
all
tell me.
entertainment, and then people gonna look, you wanna get views. Like, what is all that, though? This is my football team. What
generation.
This is my football team, huh?
As y'all tell me, this the world we live in.
I do that all
Get with the
season.
program.
Wait till
It's
after the
It's
season.
this generation. You cannot get them off.
Nah,
No.
I'm teaching y'all something valuable and like how we run our program. I can say that as a coach.
You know
Do
what
that
I'm
after
saying?
the hill, huh?
You know what I'm saying? I won't be attending West
All right,
Virginia.
go to the trans.
And you know what?
That says a lot.
right there.
That's my way over to
Because you want to
USC.
dance on TikTok. Because you want to dance on TikTok.
University.
Yeah, okay.
Because you want to dance on, go and dance on TikTok over there where they
I
lose.
can't do it. I'm getting to the portal.
Who losing?
Right now.
Get
I'm
to the
getting in the portal.
Go ahead.
I get
All
it.
because
It's
you
what
don't.
they do.
Everybody.
This
It's what they do.
I'm shocked. He shouldn't even be out here talking like this. This is messing with his recruiting.
Look,
I
Paul.
guarantee you.
Not dancing on TikTok is messing with recruiting.
Yes,
That's
yes. You better believe it.
crazy.
What you,
Yes.
hey,
Talking about?
No, come on,
Hey,
man.
Paul, this is
What are we
what-
talking about?
What do you mean? Have
Are
you
we talking about
seen these like recruiting videos? They do.
all it
They
is.
do
Everything.
highlight cuts with. They have a
Everything.
spinning machine. that
If
does
you commit,
TikToks
they
in a
have they
photo
push
shoot.
stuff out on social media.
You tripping, Paul.
They have graphics.
Nah, I just got
Man,
on
you-
TikTok yesterday. No, I did. I literally did. Signed up for my account.
You
just to
signed
kind of.
up for TikTok yesterday?
Yeah. I put on like 3 little things. But I need to see this. I don't know.
You're joking crazy.
I need to see what's going
TikTok
on.
crazy, I guess.
Because I know my kids is on TikTok, but he talking about the football team dancing on
Yeah,
TikTok.
your kids on TikTok.
Yeah.
I got to get on explore this a little bit. I don't know the trends yet, but I
Paul, we was
don't
going
want to look up and see my big old lineman doing these moves and all.
I mean, that's good. That's good footwork.
Nah.
That ain't got nothing to do with a play on the field, man.
Nah, I need them on there.
Nah.
I need them on there inspiring, lifting weights, saying we working
that-
hard.
but-
I need to
but
show
see-
that.
Which
on
positions
TikTok.
are allowed to be on TikTok?
Man, I'm saying let's get on TikTok and inspire some people. We don't need to be all doing some goofy stuff.
What are they gonna be
to
talking
get
about?
views. Let's get on TikTok. Show us doing some sprints, lifting some
19-year-olds
weights.
telling me
Let's
inspirational
let's show us getting strong out
Showing
here.
that grind.
Let's show the
dig it.
grind.
What you
Nah,
know
you dig
about
it.
life?
Paul,
Man.
I'm sure, and
Come
Michael
on.
as well, enjoy being in the sports world. Remember when we was growing up,
Okay.
we were afraid to wear pink because people felt like pink was a color.
I wore pink.
Paul.
Pink
You got
tie.
pink on right now?
Yeah, we
right now.
wore ties and things of that nature, but I'm just talking about just in
Right,
general.
right.
People
What
would be
it-
like,
what
we
it
would think
represents.
that people thought that we were soft because we wore pink.
Okay.
That's what he's saying. They gonna be soft because they on TikTok. Come on, stop.
I need you on TikTok doing these weights, getting these weights, sprints, getting strong. So you inspire, oh, they work over there. We going to that school. They getting that grind on. That's what I want to see. I don't want to see all that dancing.
And I'm
trying
sure
to-
they put that out there, too. Put that out there.
Talking
For my
about.
football team, come on, man.
we let-
Show
you know
me,
what?
show me hitting 3 or 4 plates. That's what I want to see.
We let
You know what I'm
Paul
saying?
post too many
Yeah.
workout videos. Now he think he out here inspiring the next generation to get in the gym.
Get in the gym. Let's show me that. All that
We gotta
grand-
stop letting Paul post sweaty face videos from the gym.
I'm trying to inspire.
No, Michael, you would be on TikTok dancing if you were 20 today.
No,
He ain't gotta, him?
No.
Mike on TikTok. He on TikTok.
He ain't gotta be on TikTok. I mean, he ain't gotta be 20. Him? Oh, man, please. Do we need to show that clip again?
I mean, I'm telling you, they have good footwork. It's important for a good
No,
offensive line.
but everybody spends money.
Well,
The Detroit Lions are spending money.
Yeah, they should
They
spend
done paid
money.
everybody too. They done paid Penei Sewell. They done paid St. Brown. They done paid Jared Goff.
Right.
They getting ready to break Gibbs off. They pay everybody.
well, also, you know, Caleb is on his rookie contract, so
But that
they,
ain't-
they do have a little more money to throw around.
Yeah, that
to,
rookie-
To
but-
Amon-Ra's question about, you know, where they
But
have
that
unlimited
rookie
money.
quarterback stuff, we're going to get to that because there's another player that talked about it in Dallas. We're going to talk about that.
We have lots of foreshadowing going on in the early blocks.
Don't fall for it. Pump fake. Don't fall for it. I'll break it down for you.
Okay. All right. He has some statistics. Is all the pressure on Caleb, fight on, after the Bears moves this offseason, Paul?
Pressure to be better? Absolutely. Because, look, if he didn't have time, we invested the money to say, hey, we're going to give you some time now. So now it's on you to be better. Now, I don't know if the pressure is on them to make the playoffs, but we need you to be significantly better than you were a year ago and show progress to where we're trying to get to in a tough division, maybe the toughest division in football. We have to be better. Because when you think about it, though, as many times he got sacked, if you go back and look at some of those one-possession games, they could have won about 4 more games than they won. You know, they lost the Hail Mary game, and then they lost about 2 games because of the coaching decision, made some mistakes. And so I expect them to be much better. I think they can make the playoffs, to think about it. So, you know, maybe the pressure is on the more I think about it because they were closest, and that's with them playing as bad as they played and not having a line.
You know what's so crazy? If you go back and you remember, Joy, when we first started this show and we start talking about Caleb and this and that and all that, and I said, and if he does not turn the corner in the next 2 years, they'll be looking to draft another quarterback. And that's where this thing is headed. If in fact, 2025 doesn't go the way that they want it to, they'll be looking. Don't mean that they are, but they'll be looking. They'll be trying to figure out, because just like head coaches with these quarterbacks, they give you 3 years, right? They want you to learn the first year how to get to the stadium. They want you the second year, they want you to start to make progress. That third year, you need to be knocking on the door of that Pro Bowl deep playoff runs, or else they're going to start talking about moving on from you. So the pressure is certainly on him in a big way, too, because last year they went out, drafted well, brought in free agents. Ryan Poles' job is on the line. Okay, this is his second head coach. You don't keep getting to hire coaches after coaches after coaches after coaches. Then they go out and get Joe Tooney. They go out and get Grady Jarrett on the defensive line. They Drew Dolman on the offensive line. They went out and got, like you said, 3 offensive linemen to solidify that record-breaking sack record for a rookie.
They got Jonah Jackson as well.
So they went out and got Jonah Jackson. They're like, okay, we now need to shore this thing up. And if he doesn't start to show progress, now guess what? The general manager going to be sweating bullets, Michael. And then they're going to start looking at the quarterback saying, well, you know, we really didn't draft him. That's not our guy. We was in Detroit. Those are the sort of things that start to take place. So, yeah, there's going to be pressure. Absolutely, 100%. And you got an offensive-minded head coach that you went out and campaigned for. You wanted an offensive-minded head coach, and they brought one in for you.
Right, and you lead me to where I go with it. I believe absolute pressure is on Caleb Williams, but I think Ben Johnson shares that pressure also with him because this was the best prospect come along since we saw Sean McVay hiring cycle. And this is what he's supposed to do. And I say the pressure's on him because he has to be looking and he will be compared to, oh, look at what Cliff Kingsbury doing for Jaden Daniels. Can you do that for Caleb Williams? That's why we got you here. They paid him 5 years, $65 million to get Caleb Williams what Jaden Daniels is. They only playing Cliff Kingsbury 3 years, $18 million. He's making $13 a year. Cliff, I can make it your whole year and your whole contract in 1 year. I got to get this guy ready. That's what I got to do. I got to get this. So it's on Ben Johnson. It's on Caleb Williams. Yes, they have to get that offense going. And I think they will. I think they'll build in the likes of what they did
what sound better, Paul?
With Detroit.
5 for 65 or 13 a year. What sound better?
5 for 60. I've been taking 13 a year.
It sound better, huh? Yeah, 13 a year sound better than 5 for 65. It sound more pressure on the joint when you say 13 a year. And then he breaks it down by saying Cliff Kingsbury
only making
1 year. He getting all that in 1 year, basically.
Right.
I think there's a lot of pressure on him this year. Look, I know everyone was excited about what the Bears did in their offseason last year, and they did make a lot of significant moves. I think that they did a good job to try and put him in a good position. But I went into the season thinking that the expectations were way out of control for a team that did not have anything established, for a coach that we were unsure was the right guy for the job. and a situation that honestly was, to me, not anywhere near a team that was ready to compete in an extremely tough division. So I am not surprised that things went the way that they did last year, and I don't put that at Caleb's feet. I think the situation was greatly exaggerated about how good of a situation it was for Caleb to come into. Now,
Prior
this
to
year,
him going there.
correct.
Right.
Now, this year, it's your second year. You have an offensive coach. You have a coach, to your point, Michael and Key, that everybody wanted. So you landed him. He was on the market, the top prospect on the market. You landed him. He's an offensive guy. He's the guy that you wanted. You came in with a lot of expectations, and you're not a rookie anymore. They shored up the offensive line, and now those pieces that they went and got you before need to start getting activated.
Correct.
They're going to do
he
some
can't
more.
fix you.
So I don't know that they have to.
No, they do.
Hear me out.
No, they do.
I don't know that they have to make the playoffs.
No, they do.
I think. Well, listen. You've got the Packers.
Don't
You've
matter.
got the Lions.
Which is always a tough division.
You've got Minnesota.
Yeah.
Now let's go to the rest of the NFC.
Right.
Yeah, that's fine, but we done
Listen,
spent
I hear
all
you.
this
I
money.
hear you. But this is we're already doing it. We did it with them in this rookie season, and we're doing it again now.
Yeah.
Look what the Lions did, right? Most teams around the league would trade places with the Lions in a second, right? Like maybe 5 other teams would take what they've done over the last 3 years compared to what the Lions have done.
It's slow growth.
Right.
Yeah.
But sometimes things take time.
Yeah, but
I know that's not our world.
Joy.
I know it's not our world, but hear me out. Hear me out, because I wasn't bought into Dan Campbell at all, right? And then the first season, it was bad. But it was like bad, but they were spunky. And then the second year, it grew.
Yeah.
We started to see the culture building. We started to see all the kneecap biting that he was talking about manifest onto the field in a real way, not just rah-rah stuff. And now look at where they are. So that's a team to pay attention to within your own division. Things do not have to turn around into playoffs and winning in deep runs right away. What you do need to see is that growth from year one to year 2 with the Lions. The Lions were competing at the end of the season. They lost a couple close games, but they were there. And then the next year, they were able to take the step up. If you are able to see that kind of growth from Caleb Williams this year, them making it to the playoffs or making a playoff run, to me, is irrelevant because he's still a young player.
No, but they not. But you go back into last year, like you said.
That's a great timeline.
Unrealistic expectations of the Chicago Bears in your eyes, not in the city, not in the eyes of the Bear fans, not in the eyes of the organization.
Well, how's that working out for them?
But I get what you're saying. Right. But when you go back and you look, and this is where people can get into trouble at, right? You look at young quarterbacks and what Rex Ryan was able to do with a nice team, with a young quarterback, make it to 2 straight AFC Championship games with our own Mark Sanchez. So when you're looking at Caleb Williams and you look at the defense the last 6-7 games, let's just call it the second half of the season, the defense was one of, if not the top 3 defenses in the National Football League. You go out there, you draft the Duze, you bring in Swift, you go out, you got DJ Moore, you started putting pieces around, then the bottom fell out from it. Now you done went back, you done doubled down, spent a whole lot of money in the last 2 seasons in free agency, and you're going to spend money again in the draft. The expectations are going to be through the roof. It's not going to be no, well, we're in a tough division. And then when you talk about Detroit organization ain't the Chicago Bears historically. It's just not.
Historically?
The Chicago Bears, regardless to what you think about the Chicago Bears and where they've been recently, they've gone to a Super Bowl with Lovie Smith. They've been deep runs in the playoffs. In the thought of the Chicago Bears, the brand is so much bigger than in Detroit. They're not giving you any leeway at all, Joy, in Chicago. They just not.
They haven't won a playoff game in 14 years.
I understand,
and
but they just like the Dallas Cowboys, where the brain tells you something different because of the brand.
Yeah, they have a brand.
I am not emotionally attached to the Chicago Bears. So what I'm saying is correct and is the way that it should be done. I don't care about what your brand is. The reality is different than the brand.
But they're not going to go with your reality.
And you guys going key. You're going key with Mark Sanchez. It was a defensive-minded team that could the defense controlled that team.
Yeah.
This
Had
team,
a first ballot Hall of Famer on that team.
wherever it goes, because this head coach is tied to this quarterback now. Now, this is going to be an offensive team. So Caleb Williams going to have to do way more than Mark Sanchez did to get them
but last
to what
year,
Joy's talking about.
It was a defensive-minded head coach, though, Michael.
Right, correct.
And they built on their defense.
And this is why I'm putting the pressure on Ben Johnson.
Oh, there's nothing wrong with that.
You see what I'm saying?
But it's going to always, regardless if Caleb Williams is in town, Brett Favre, or anybody else, the Chicago Bears is going to always be a defensive-minded organization.
Right.
Period.
In city.
Period.
But that's my point. This is my point. This is my point. And that's why it was so important to get Caleb Williams, because they keep looking across the river to know how they messed up on Patrick Mahomes. And all of that pressure falls on this young man in Ben Johnson this season.
Somebody else, too, huh? It wasn't just Patrick, it was somebody else. They missed on like 2 people. I know Patrick is the one, but it was another. It was somebody else, too. I don't know off the top of my head.
You watched Keyshawn Watson early on.
Well, NFC North is looking stacked again headed into 2025. Paul, who is your early favorite to win the NFC North?
I think I like the Packers.
Pack, go.
Yeah, I think they boasted the youngest team in the NFL. They had their little heartaches last year because they couldn't beat the teams at the top like the Detroits and the Minnesotas and things of that nature. But I think they're heading in the right direction. I like Love. They got to do a better job of protecting him. But upside, when I look at what's happening in Detroit, losing their offensive and defensive coordinator, Minnesota don't have a quarterback right now if they're going to rely on their young guy, J.J. McCarthy. And then Chicago is a what-if, too. So I like the stability of what's going on right there in Green Bay right now.
I also like the Packers.
Yeah, I might as well just echo everything that Paul took off my notes and go ahead and roll with it, because
I didn't see your notes.
It's the same thing, right? It's Green Bay's young. They're right there. They're like right there knocking on the door. Baltimore, like from a couple years ago, when Baltimore was taking slow steps and finally got to the championship game, although they lost to Kansas City. And then you look at Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson, both gone. You got to replace those guys. But not only them. They also lost other assistant coaches off of Detroit's team. Obviously AG and Ben Johnson are the faces because they were the coordinators, but there's other coaches that are not there anymore that wind up leaving too. So I think they got a lot that they have to overcome before I could say that Detroit's going to repeat in that division again. I wouldn't be shocked, and I know it sounds crazy, I wouldn't be shocked if Detroit missed the playoffs this year.
No, that's not happening.
I'm just saying, I wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't be shocked.
They got too much.
But it doesn't mean that they
was
win
missing
10
half their
games.
defense last year. Remember that?
Right.
Yeah,
that's coming back.
But they also have lost players in free agency that have left too.
But not their main players.
Yeah, no, they have on the defense and the secondary.
I would be shocked if they didn't make the playoffs. I wouldn't be shocked.
I would be shocked.
I wouldn't be shocked if they didn't win the division, but I would be shocked if they didn't make the playoffs.
I would be shocked if they didn't win the division. There's something to talk about when you're talking about coming together. You lose these coordinators, like we've lost coordinators. We used to come together and say, man, we got to show them we're more than just these guys calling plays. We're the guys out here operating, making the plays. And these guys will do the same thing. Detroit right now, the way they are built, they're built behind his personality. Yeah, those coordinators were calling the plays, but they're built behind his personality, and he is still there. They'll still be a tough, gritty, kneecap-biting team with all this talent, and I believe they will win this
I'm so tired
division.
of you always trying to compare other teams to your damn team.
Well, no, my job is to bring my experience to
No, but your experience is way different.
Right.
Will you stop, though? Just do me a do. Just stop.
I see this.
We used to always tell the coaches and coach the
Well, you got to go
Michael
inside the
Irvin,
mind.
Emmitt Smith, Troy
Go
Aikman,
inside
Deion
the mind.
Sanders, Charles Haley, Darren
St.
Woodson.
Brown, Lil Porter, they got all those kind of players. Gibbs, they got great players.
I'm not saying that they don't. They ain't got no damn Michael Irvins.
They got great players. And I St. Brown is that dude. I mean, he has that kind of personality.
I get it.
Honestly, they remind me a lot
Trojan.
of
I understand it.
Right on.
But I need you to stop.
You don't think Detroit has that in them?
You won your 3rd Super Bowl on autopilot.
They probably
With a
got
staff,
the
with a
most,
coaching
they probably
staff.
have
You
the most
stop.
talented team outside of Philly.
Thank you. Right. And they got dogs on that team. I'm talking about a mentality
I'm not saying they don't
and
have.
a dog-head coach.
I'm not saying that they don't have dogs, but when you drive me crazy by doing that. They ain't got no Michaels and no Troys and no Emmets and no Big E's and all. They don't.
I think St. Brown gonna be right there.
I'm not
don't see
saying
that.
he's not. He ain't yet.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And that's what I'm saying. I'm seeing young Michael in them now. I'm seeing the young Calvin
I'm
in
looking
them
at a
now.
young Emmett over there, too.
Right. That's what I'm telling you.
Oh,
and
okay.
I said this a year and a half ago.
You a real good salesman.
I
You
said a
sell
year and
ice
a half
to
ago.
an
I really
Eskimo.
do. I love how they love playing together, man. And you can see them always competing. And like Paul said, no matter one guy goes down, the next man pops up, and they still play well. That tells you the nucleus of this team, everybody understands, whoever gets on the field, there's a certain way you got to play. They built that in Detroit, and I think that's
those coordinators are no longer there. You speak to people that got hurt. The adjustments was made on the defensive end by Aaron Glenn that came up with some magic to get them dudes to turn into whatever they turn into a little bit. And when they did certain things on the offensive side, Ben Johnson was able to do those things. You're asking these new coordinators to try to duplicate that, whether or not Dan Campbell is there or not. You're asking them to kind of do the same things. That's hard. Think about it. When you lost Norv Turner, you was messing around with who?
Well, I went with Ernie Zampese.
No, but Shane. No, I'm talking about not Norv, but when Zamp, you was messing around with Shane Gator. That turned into something different.
That's a whole different story.
Yeah, that's a whole different story.
That's a whole different story. We went to a whole different offense. That was a whole different game.
And they may try to stay the same.
And
They may try.
But Detroit has the ability to sustain, leaves in those coordinators. And I believe Detroit will win.
Okay, well, we'll have this conversation next October when we're talking about who they're going to pick in the third round or something. The third pick in the draft or something.
Well, subscribe here to get the latest from Speak, and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.